Okay. Let's Fight a Boss is back. Everyone's losing their fucking minds right now. No one can believe it. And I have been thinking for months, what is the perfect intro back for Let's Fight a Boss? Okay? Because we only get one shot at this. And here it is. Winter is coming.
That sucks, John.
I think that's been used.
No, it's a... Okay, I see what's going on here. You guys didn't get what I was going for. It's like a Game of Thrones reference.
Oh yeah, no, I got it.
Winter is coming.
No, like winter came and went and it sucked.
No, it's like a... Okay, well, look, the Lannisters have to visit Winterfell because their son, the future King Joffrey, is going to marry the girl.
You may as well
Sansa.
just start like quoting Austin Powers or something, John.
Well, that's like the third cue card I have here.
What, you're going to be like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, that was it. I was going to see how badly this one went. And you know what? It hasn't gone great.
John does a really good Cartman impression. Do you guys remember South Park? Just some real gems tonight, everyone.
Yeah, I think this is off to a fantastic start. You know, we had some hiccups there, but I did my intro. Everyone loved it. Everyone's super impressed, and it's just great to be back.
Okay, it's going to be real hard to get back into this, everyone. We're going to do our best, but we gotta use this awkward energy. I'm loving it. John is just back in his 15-year-old form again, and then I don't know what's happening to Neve.
How am I back in my 15-year-old form?
Because you were an awkward teenage boy.
Did you know him then?
Oh yeah. He didn't know that I knew him, but I was keeping tabs. Let's just say that I've manipulated things to my advantage for a very, very long time.
Yeah, okay. I believe it.
That's like concerning, but for some reason not shocking.
Look, you find the people you want to find on Bebo.
Yep. Add me as a friend. Oh my god. Oh, this is actually a good Bebo story. So, back before Bebo... So, first of all, Bebo was a social media website before Facebook and a lot of those competing in the mid-2000s. It was very, very popular here in Europe, particularly in Ireland and the UK. Mm-hmm. I think some Americans had it as well, but I think it missed a lot of schools and groups too. Anyway, I guess in the mid to late 2000s, we were all on Bebo, and we all would have added each other. But I can remember specifically adding John around 2006, and I think they had pivoted the company so that it was more aimed at like students and teenagers at that point. But the original people they had kind of aimed it at were business people, so it was supposed to be kind of like LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And your girlfriend's dad was on it and you were friends with him, and I didn't notice at the time, and I left a comment on your Bebo page that said smooth penis.
Welcome to the Let's Fight a Boss Game of the Year podcast. And just a reminder, we are the returning, reigning, undisputed, world's strongest video game podcast. I am sitting here with two of the goddamn best podcasters on this planet. Don't worry about the intro. We're just warming up. Okay, it's been a little bit. To my left, the winner of the gourmet race. It's Brian.
Thank you so much. I'm holding on to my Kirby plush.
To my right, Raider of Tombs, Stealer of Hearts. It's Neve.
How you doing?
People can't see, so Neve did a kind of like crossing her arms, pointing in two different directions pose when she said that.
And she clicked her finger.
Yeah, it was very powerful.
And she did a Joey Tribbiani. It was very good, very, very relevant.
And with you always, on behalf of the nameless one.
Who?
Oh, don't worry about it.
What?
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Do you know what?
Wait, what
Actually,
is this?
sorry, real quick. Do you guys mind if I just plug something personal super quick?
Like right now in the
Just
intro?
right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Okay,
You
no,
can,
no,
but
but
then-
we can
like-
get to it. We
like,
can get to it.
All right.
I have started a network for like-minded individuals on our Discord server. We pretty much kind of get together in a private chat room and share tips for success and just like...
Is this an MLM?
I don't know what that is, so yes. And it's really just like a very welcoming place where people can kind of be themselves and, a lot of strategy, a lot of business talk and stuff like that.
It sounds like you're a pickup artist.
No, that's not it. Another kind of false accusation is that we're a cult, and we're absolutely not a cult. Not even a little bit. You can talk to anyone there. You can recognize them in the Discord server because their names are white and they have nameless in the title and they speak in a very specific way. It's called the Church of the Nameless. And look, if you're on the Let's Fight a Boss Discord server, you can at me. Just put nameless in your title. Just put nameless in your nickname on the server, and I will add you to the church. And it's just a bunch of people helping each other and spreading positive vibes. So there.
I went in there briefly.
You're not allowed in there, Brian.
I went in there and I teased them just a tiny little amount, and they all felt like they were the cult of the shameless.
It's not a cult. It's just a group of like-minded people.
They were very embarrassed for themselves. I said, would you not have a bit of cop on?
Okay, finish the intro and we will deal with this bullshit later.
Yeah.
Put a pin in
I don't know.
Cult of the Nameless.
I don't know why you guys are so bothered by it, honestly. I think it speaks to kind of maybe things that are lacking from your own life.
So what's your name now?
John. Same as it's always been.
Okay.
But he's a servant.
Oh.
I'm a herald, Neve.
Okay, so you're making money.
I mean, I'm making money in various ways on the internet, yes.
I'm just doing something for business,
Yeah.
I don't need to go into specifics for personal
Yeah,
reasons.
no, I absolutely don't.
Okay, well, the Queendom will have to review the existence of the Church of the Nameless because nothing was said to me.
Yeah. Or, if the queendom is coming to an end soon.
John, we're better than you. Like, that's a proven fact. We're better people.
We sure got to this quickly, didn't we?
Yes.
We didn't even butter it up with some fucking dumb movie talk.
No. I
just straight to the fucking bullying and harassment.
Yeah, a brick right through the window. Fuck it. It's what the people want.
Yeah.
They want hair pulling, they want teasing, they want me filming you privately, they just want it all.
The amount of videos Brian has like that he can't release publicly because it reveals too much about where we live. Like, this isn't a in-joke that Brian frequently films me without my knowledge and then sends me the footage.
Yeah. Because we're just making sure you're not lost.
Oh my god.
I sent some to you as well. I'm like, look what I saw.
It's true.
I did encounter Neve in the park a couple of weeks ago and it was really weird.
Yeah, he didn't say hi.
I was running.
He does that sometimes. And
I'm
one time...
I'm running. I'm not going to fucking stop and be like, oh, how was your day? When we do a fucking
You can turn off your legs, John.
Yeah.
You can just slow down.
I don't know if he can turn
Well,
off his
okay,
legs.
Neve, would you have wanted that? Would you have wanted to be like, hey, Neve, how's it go? Oh, I just bought this game on Switch. You would have fucking hated that.
Or what happened? No, we should. What? This is a video game podcast. COVID has rotted all our brains.
Mm-hmm.
Our social stats are all at 0.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are leveling up very, very slowly. I think I'm getting there faster. But we need to get back on track and give the people what they want, which is a well-rounded, well-researched something podcast.
Brian, cut her mic. I'm bored. I don't know where she's going.
You can enjoy something and still rip it to shreds.
Okay, yeah. We got a bit of a ways to go before we start the actual game of the year, and we'll give a proper spiel. But look, if you've been here a while, you know the deal here. This is going to be brutal. The way we do this, well, we're actually kind of trying out a new system this year. We're leaving behind our old game of the year system. And what we've done now is that we've talked about all the games beforehand and decided what wins. We're also starting at the top and going to work our way down. So this is going to take 20 minutes. Number 1, Genshin Impact. Number 2...
That game wishes it was number 1.
Hey, it's not going to be number 47.
No, it's not.
No, but Eve shrugged. We'll get there. But yeah, also, we're going to fight in this episode. I expect us to be recording for the next 4 to 5 hours. We're going to be emotionally frayed talking about the games we are most passionate about, and we're gonna have a steady ramp up. We're gonna take it nice and easy. We're gonna chill, but things are gonna get there, and it's gonna get bloody like it does every year. That's why we're here. Is this what you were talking about, Neve?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Show on the road.
Okay, yeah. But another thing we're going to do a little different this year is we've been away for a little bit and we've experienced like a year's worth of media. And so we're going to address this in what I like to call our Omega strategy talk. I don't know, Neve, are you going to put sound effects there? Or
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Are you going to cut this bit out? Because I feel like it's going to make me sound like...
No, I like to leave the stuff in to give us an authentic vibe.
You see, the problem there is like I do really want to cut out, and the longer it goes on, I feel like the more pathetic I sound. So if you could cut it out, that'd be amazing.
No,
Okay.
I think this is a genuine
Okay,
version
see now,
of
Brian,
you.
you're extending it, and it's just getting worse. And if she leaves all this in, I'm really going to sound like a fucking idiot now.
People love the homemade aesthetic.
Yeah.
It makes it more personal.
We're like pirate radio.
Yeah.
It makes us cooler than other podcasts.
Like people like to hear like the sounds
Yeah.
of stuff.
I really
like
don't.
clearing our
I
nose,
really don't
like
know.
literally farting into the microphone.
I really don't
drinking
know that
beer.
they do, and if they do,
John,
oh my god,
John, that was disgusting.
It's the homemade vibe that people are here for. We're like a warm apple pie that you can just
So
touch.
something I feel like I've had to kind of pivot my online
Love touching those pies.
So something I feel like I've had to kind of pivot my online persona away from is anything to do with ASMR or anything like that. I did like 20 seconds on a stream once and people lost their shit, and we're never doing that again. So this is all very uncomfortable.
Then move it on, buddy.
Fucking good shit. Okay. Guys, real quick, I want to talk about Schitt's Creek. Have either of you checked this out?
No, Schitt's Creek is that TV show that everyone goes, you should watch Schitt's Creek. And I'm like, fine, I'll get around to it. But everyone I meet tells me to watch Schitt's Creek. Tell me why I should watch Schitt's Creek.
Same.
You know why, Brian. I showed you an episode.
Yeah, it's great. I love those actors.
2020 was bad, okay? And I know we're probably going to touch on that point, and I know that's not like a revolutionary thought in December of this year, but it was a mean-spirited, dark, depressing year, and I felt like Ireland went through 2 lockdowns. Both were very long, and I think it was like watching really good TV shows that helped make that a little more palatable for me. And Schitt's Creek was one of those TV shows. Me and Michelle would sit down every night and I would watch 2 episodes. And it's not just that it's a funny show, okay? It's a funny sitcom. I laugh probably every episode. And I think that's like, that's what you want. It's very rare I watch a sitcom where like I feel proud of the characters for making good decisions and not falling back into bad habits. And honestly, it's that aspect of it that I nearly loved more than the comedy. And that's not saying anything bad about the comedy. Some of the shit in it is so fucking funny. The writing is so sharp and the actors are like incredible. The woman who plays Moira, the premise of this, there's Biscuit. He caught me off guard.
That's fine. He's just that's my hedgehog Biscuit. His body clock is all over the place.
He's
at the
a good
moment.
lad.
Yeah.
But the premise is like rich family gets like bankrupt and must move to a shitty town. And I wasn't really that into the first couple episodes because I felt like there was a lot of like, but I'm rich, But when like the actors really grow into those roles, they're just hilarious. Like it's a father, mother, and a son and daughter, and each one of them is like amazing in their own way. But the mother, Moira Rose, who is the mother from Home Alone, she is absolutely fucking fantastic. And like she can just take any line and make it really, really funny. She pronounces baby really weird.
Oh, it's Bebe.
She's like, oh, a little baby. And like she says it maybe every 7 episodes and it just gets funnier each time. But it's just this like hugely welcoming series, and it's like, you know, like there's after the first season it starts to focus a lot on David, and I don't want to say too much, but it's like he's like this bi dude, and it's kind of interesting to see. It was really cool to see that like he was just bi, wasn't a fucking thing. Like there was no, and I know this, like there's like a tricky. I am not the person on this podcast to talk about this, but it's like it was nice to see a show where it was like, yep, he's bi or he's gay or he's with a boy or whatever, and it's like it was never like there was never like a, but I just don't know if I can accept this about you. It's just like, no, it's fine. Who fucking gives a shit, you know? Because I feel like a lot of the times when you see that kind of stuff, it is like it can be like about nearly the kind of misery of being gay. Eve, I'm looking at you nervously.
No, yeah, you're right.
And it was cool to see something that was just like, no, it's fine. Like it's not a fucking who gives a shit? Because like there's already a lot of shit about how hard that shit is, and it was nice just to see something that was like just welcoming and cool, you know? And that's the thing I'd say about this show. It's like it is really sweet. It's really positive. It is like just something really great if you've had a shit year and you need something nice, and not like light all the time, because there is heartbreaking scenes in it that like it definitely made me cry like once.
How many seasons is there?
6 seasons.
Whoa, are they long?
I think 12 to 14 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's 6 seasons and they're done. It's finished. And like I'm sad it's finished, but there isn't a bad season. Like they ended it well, and it's just a fucking great show. And it's like it is one of my favorite sitcoms ever. And I am so glad I watched it, and it would be I would say if you've had a crap year, this is some nice calming, this is
Comfort
nice
TV.
balm. Yes, totally.
Cool. I'm going to jump off of that and go straight into some TV I watched, which was like...
Well, Eve, that's not how this fucking podcast
No, it is! I'm being like so tight right now.
You just ruined your bit,
Yeah,
John.
oh my god, that was so fucking smooth.
I'll ruin
That
every
was smooth
fucking
as
bit on this
fuck.
podcast until you remember who's the goddamn host, okay?
I'll host you.
Please don't. Sorry.
I was watching Dead to Me, and that became my comfort TV show of the lockdown. It has Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini. She's Lindsay in Freaks and Geeks, which is kind of cool to see because
She's class.
I love her as an actress, and I haven't seen her for years. Like I don't follow her career, so to have her kind of crop up in this really touching character-based sitcom and just to see her face was really like, I don't know, it was like, I guess nostalgic, but I was just like, oh my god, it's you. And she plays such a endearing character that it was really cool. But the basic premise of Dead to Me is a woman loses her husband in a hit and run, and another woman befriends her at a grievance counseling session, like an open session. And I'm not going to give any of it away because it's just too brilliant, but it's just 2 seasons of extremely good, funny comedy, but heart-wrenching emotional stuff as well. And it was really, again, like Schitt's Creek, it was really like the TV show for me to get me through this year. And it was one of those like, oh, this is definitely going on a list of the best TV I've ever watched. Just really well acted stuff. And I think that's where TV is now. Like so many good actors are in television.
Yeah, like it's like with Schitt's Creek, like that show would be half what it is without those performances. And it's great. It's so good when you see people at that level doing TV. Brian, you have a lot on here.
I do. I'll do one of the TV shows first. I watched an animated show called Close Enough. It's from J.G. Quintel, who made Regular Show on Cartoon Network. And I think it was made a couple of years ago, and then it got shelved until a streaming site picked it up. And so it got put on Netflix over the summer, and I think it's only the first batch of the episodes produced, and then a second batch is coming out next year. But I watched it all in a couple of days, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's sort of like an adult animation, and I think adult animation falls into 2 categories. There's kind of like the smart kind of adult animation where it's poignant. That's a hard word to say. And sweet and endearing, and kind of handles mature subjects, well, but it's still, a laugh out loud cartoon. And then the other is just, edgy dick joke humor.
Yeah.
Sausage Party.
My
Yeah.
kind of movie.
Yeah,
I've never
and
seen Sausage Party.
it's really bad.
Okay.
I'm very thankful that Close Enough is in the first half of that, where it's very genuine and endearing. It's about a couple who live in LA with their daughter, and they're in their early 30s. They have a 3 to 4 year old daughter, but then because it's so expensive to live in LA, they have two housemates who are another guy and a girl, but they used to date and now they're broken up and they're all living together. And that's a very realistic depiction of people our age having to do a house share, and they'd like more freedom but they can't because that's the world we live in at the moment. And for a while when I was watching, I was like, I was like, why is this a cartoon? Like, this could just be a live action thing. But then the show will always kind of get wacky in moments, and you're like, that's why it's a cartoon. Mm-hmm. So there's one episode where they go to a nightclub, and the main couple, they get a babysitter for the night, and they haven't gone out to a nightclub in years, and they really want to relive their younger days when they were in their 20s before they had their daughter. And so they all go to the nightclub, and they realize that they're just like a generation too old for it now. And they kind of slip up on a lot of the, modern social cues and all that. And they have a couple of jokes about, them being too old and them liking old bands and not knowing what the new bands are. But then as the episode goes on, they learn that the nightclub actually wants old people there because they like to sacrifice old people to a weird blender machine. And then they use the old people's blood to fuel the younger people.
Wow.
Which I was like, okay, that's why it's a cartoon.
You know that feeling of like not recognizing young people bands? I feel like I've been there for like 14 years.
Just an old man.
Like I think once people moved past like 2001 Kerrang, I just got lost.
So the last contemporary album you listened to was Hybrid Theory, and then that was it.
Probably the last 9 Inch Nails album. But then, like, I went on, that website Obscurify?
Yeah.
I checked, like, what's my music taste on that, and I'm in, like, the 0.001% of most obscure music, because everything I listen is just weird vaporwave, death dream shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Being old is fun and sad and interesting and frustrating sometimes, but I'm glad there's stuff out there that you can relate to. One thing I really, really like about Close Enough, and it's a rare thing that you get to see this in TV shows, the main couple in it love each other. I'd
like to see that.
And there's so many TV shows where you have the husband and wife, and you're like, why are they together? They fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
And like, I know from a writing point of view, they need to have conflict in every episode. So the conflict is always like, an argument that the husband and wife have. But like, it gets old. It gets tired real fast. And so
it does. And like any moment of affection is like a big deal nearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so in this, I think in every episode, like they do say I love you to each other. And there is a moment where like they share like a little victory between each other and they high five, and like they have a dynamic and relationship that they have between each other that they don't have with other characters, which is great.
That's nice.
Because like the only other show I could think of is like Malcolm in the Middle. The parents and that love each other.
Bob's Burgers, they love each other a lot.
Yeah, they do. They're a really sweet couple.
Some great scenes.
But yeah, that is a thing that's kind of missing.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's on Netflix. I think there's only a few episodes. It's very easy to watch in a couple days.
Cool.
What's the name of this one again, Brian?
Close Enough.
Because I watched The Sopranos and The Wire, and
I feel like you've spoken about The Sopranos so many times.
The HBO double bill bonanza.
I think I was watching it when we went off the air.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just just another revolutionary take. I think those are good TV shows. I just want to say, because like it's interesting watching the two of them back to back, because it's like I think overall Sopranos is like a better TV show. But I think there is no season of Sopranos that's like as good as season 4 of The Wire. That's where they go into like the school system, and it's just fucking crazy. And
those child actors.
Oh
are
my
fantastic.
god, they're so good. Snoop is so cool. Yeah,
Snoop's amazing.
yeah. No, that's all I got to say about that. Neve, what you got?
I watched Possessor, the Brandon Cronenberg movie.
It's David Cronenberg's kid, yeah.
Yeah, David Cronenberg's equally creepy kid made a pretty creepy movie.
Jesus, that poster for that film is so upsetting.
It's very nightmarish. Have either of you guys seen it?
No.
I have it, and I'm too scared to watch it.
It's gory. It's super gory, but like purposeful gore. I hate when gore is just there pointlessly, but this, like, you know, it has a point, I guess. But if you do not like gore, do not watch this movie. There's a bit where someone loses some teeth with a fire poker.
Okay.
What's the gore stuff that gets you?
Skin peeling.
Oh yeah.
Fingernail stuff.
Yeah, no,
fingernail
just
stuff.
just stuff around the fingernail. I don't like any of that.
Just prolonged beatings. Like,
Oh, I'm fine with them.
or like Green Room has a lot of like box cutter stuff, and that's
Yeah.
that was fucking
Household
bad.
objects,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So Possessor is like violent. It's super hyper violent, but it is also gorgeous looking. It is so nicely composed, like, which just shot composition, but the environments and just the sets are like gorgeous. You want to be in these houses, you want to exist in these spaces, but everything is twinged with such a horribleness. It's like a near future psychological thriller about a woman who is a corporate assassin, and how she assassinates is she is plugged into another human person. So they kidnap a person, drill a hole in their head, and put a chip in it. And then from another location, she can take over the body of that host person and will have to live their life. So she practices their diction, she knows about what they go through every day, who their partners are, and just how to act before she carries out an assigned assassination. With this one character that she meets, who is not Kit Harington, and is instead Christopher Abbott, who I always think is Kit Harington.
Yeah.
She takes over him, but there's an issue. He's kind of present, and he knows something's happening.
That's so fucked up.
But it looks gorgeous. Like, this guy's wearing a nice jacket the entire time, and I was like, that is such a good jacket.
Okay.
Like, it worked for me. I loved like a lot about it. But I think if you're into horror, like, and you haven't seen Possessor, you just kind of need to go see it.
Brian,
Yeah. I'll do a movie.
go for it.
Kajillionaire. Neve, did you watch this?
It's on my list, Brian.
Neve, oh my god.
It's in a folder.
Kajillionaire is my favorite movie this year. I love this film so much. This is one of the, and like, for me, what really makes me like a movie is when I'm watching it and I don't know what's going to happen next. Because I watch a lot of movies and you see the repetition in them sometimes, but this is one of these movies where I'm kind of like, where's this going?
I love that feeling. I love when watching a movie feels like constantly like falling off the edge of a cliff.
Yeah, and so this kind of sets itself up, right? Like, it's very similar to the film Parasite that came out last year, where it's about a family that live on the fringes of society and they're dirt poor, and they sort of kind of con their way into a situation. Mm-hmm. And it's about a mum and a dad and their adult daughter. And the mum and the dad are the kind of people that Louis Theroux would interview. They don't exist on paper. And they live in a reused office that's beside a soap factory that leaks bubbles every day at allocated time slots. And their adult daughter has no friends, and her only relationship is with her parents, but they don't treat her like a daughter. They have been training her as the perfect con artist for her whole life. And they have shown her like little to any affection. They've never celebrated her birthday, and she's just a very, very broken person. And through a series of events, they end up pairing up with another girl who's in Jane the Virgin, which I've never seen. And she kind of introduces like a bit of color into her life, and shows that there's a world outside of being a con artist. And it kind of turns into this weird broken heist movie that is really, really sweet, and I loved it.
Cool.
And yeah, it's just weird. So Evan Rachel Wood plays the daughter.
Oh, I love Evan Rachel Wood.
And she's so strange. She's called Old Dullaby in this movie. That's her name. Because... And it takes ages to explain. So for ages, they're just calling her Old Dullaby. And you're like, why is her name Old Dullaby? And they explain it and you're like, you know what, fair enough. I guess that's why the parents would call her Old Dullaby. And like the parents are so bad at making decisions. Like they shouldn't have bought that jacuzzi. There's just like... There are several moments in this movie where I was like, oh no, don't do that. And then there's other bits where I'm like, yeah, do that. Hell yeah. Which is always good. I was very engaged. I like it's a really strange film, and I've watched it twice now. And there's bits in the movie where I'm like, I don't know why that's in that movie, because it'll just kind of hold on certain parts of the film for a while, and I don't know what they're going for. But then kind of on my second rewatch, I think I knew what they were going for. It's a really one of a kind film.
Cool. That sounds good.
I highly recommend it.
Guys, Kenny Omega is AEW champion.
Good for Kenny.
Congratulations,
He has
Kenny.
a new title, like not a new title belt, but like, you know how he was the cleaner?
No.
Well, you do because you said it was shit before.
Okay.
Now he's the collector.
And what's he going to collect?
Title belts.
Okay, cool.
It's actually fucking insane because the owner of TNA, which is another big wrestling biggish wrestling organization.
Tits and ass.
Oh my god, Neve. Head out of the fucking gutter for 1 second. Can you believe this shit, Brian?
Neve, that's just...
Yeah, that's
There are
just...
children listening to this
I
fucking
can't
podcast.
believe that.
There are people under the age of 18 who have just heard...
I'm honestly so disappointed right now.
So Neve's going to apologise.
Okay,
I'm
hang
sorry,
on. No,
everyone.
wait, hang on. Let's just give... Why don't we just do 10 seconds of silence and then let Neve apologise? Okay, and silence.
Hi guys. I never thought I'd see myself making this video. I never wanted to make this video. But I fucked up. I really messed up. I said the word tits and ass. I'm crying. It's crying.
Own it.
I said the word
Ad
tits.
break. Okay, you're back.
I said the word tits
Another
and ass
ad break. And you're back.
on podcast. I shouldn't have said tits and ass because
During Wrestle Talk, Neve, come on.
during
own
Wrestle
that,
Talk
yeah.
because children don't know what a tit or an ass is.
This video was brought to you by Squarespace.
Please buy my coffee.
Yeah, peace out.
Yeah. Anyway, that's Wrestle Talk. Neve, what do you got? Kenny Omega champion, good. Give it time. I don't know fully what it... People have asked
You know
me a lot.
what, John? I'm kind of over Kenny Omega. Like, whatever. I think he's just been there too long, too much. I'm just over it.
Brian, could you cut the mics, please? Could you stop the recording? We're off the air.
Sure.
Neve, I will burn this I will murder Brian. I will take him away from you. I swear to God.
He's got
I don't
blood on his
fucking give a
hands.
shit. I don't give a shit. You cannot say shit like that on this podcast, okay?
Okay.
And, okay, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, a great story and/or anecdote, Neve. Kenny Omega, this is a whole fucking new generation. This is like a whole new thing for him. It's really interesting to see. I feel like there's a lot of ways it could go wrong. It's a lot of ways it could go right. I don't know how I feel about it 100%, but obviously the dude can do great matches. Let's see where it goes. Neve, what do you got?
I read a book.
Brian, what do you got?
What's a book? An audiobook?
Yeah, it was actually an audiobook.
Hell yeah.
I did not read a
Two
book.
things at once.
So,
Yeah.
do you guys know that I'm always reading books? I just never bring it up on the podcast.
You can't read, John.
John, come on now.
I can, just really, really slowly.
John's been reading the same book for like 10 years.
What book is that, Brian?
Battle Royale, the novelization.
No, I read that years ago. It's not very good.
No, it sucks.
Oh.
Oh, if you follow my Twitter, don't. I talk a
I
lot.
think people should follow your Twitter, but they should have you muted.
Yeah.
It should just be like, just guys, be careful.
Yeah. You check in for your, bi-monthly Neve, and then you're like, I remember why I don't come here.
Thank you. A very good review. I talk about the book Gideon the Ninth a lot. and I've described it as lesbian necromancers in space have to fight their way through Resident Evil style horror mansion full of traps to find out the truth of the situation.
And Eve, I believe you have spoken about a lesbian necromancer book before. Is this the same book?
It is the same book.
Okay, cool. Because I was just wondering.
There is not more than... Well, there is a new one now because it is a second one in the trilogy.
I was just curious if your
There's 9 of
interests
them.
were getting very specific.
No, I wish there was more lesbian necromancers. There was a second book in the Locked Tomb trilogy, which is Gideon the Ninth, and then the second one released this year, Harrow the Ninth, and it was a fantastic second book in the series. It was really interesting from a writing perspective. They changed the description from like third person to first person purely to fit a narrative reason, and I thought that was really cool and really interesting, and it goes between perspectives a lot to kind of fulfill that.
I hear that's quite difficult for writers once you kind of commit to one.
I can imagine it is. I've never seen it like done in this way before.
Totally different style of sentence.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like it's meant to be from someone else's perspective, and it works really well. This book series is great, and I was so surprised to find a fandom has popped up for it on Twitter. There's loads of fan artists creating work for Gideon the Ninth now, and usually, you know, fandoms don't really pop up around books that haven't been adapted to film. Mm-hmm. So it's been really nice to see just all these people like gather around the Locked Tomb trilogy and just have a great time. It's a book series that's just full of characters. Every character in it, like every necromancer, has a cavalier. So they have a swordsman that sticks with them and protects them, because necromancers are weak and gross because they spend their time like making skeletons rise from the dead. So there's all this interpersonal relationships with their cavalier, and there is 12 houses. So there's just like 24 characters brushing up to each other with very defined and interesting personalities, and all the world building is just done through conversation with these characters. It's not a dense world in the sense that you get a lot of information about how this sci-fi necromancer world works.
Not every world needs to be.
It doesn't need it. Yeah. It gives you enough for you to understand why the characters care about something, but it continues to reveal stuff through the characters as it's going. It's a really cool series. I can see this being adapted. I can see it being so many things.
Sounds like it'd make a good like Netflix series.
Yeah, like there's so much in it, and the action is written so well. Like you can picture these boss fights in your mind. There's like these giant constructions of bone and flesh, and a character with a broadsword trying to take them down. Like it's really good description of combat, which a lot of my favorite books fall down in, and this one really excels at, as well as like slow burn character stuff.
Who's your favorite character in it, Eve?
I love Gideon, but I also like Ianthe. She's like sickly but sexy.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Everyone's kind of sickly. They're necromancers.
They're all gaunt.
Yeah, they're all like, it's so gothy.
Gaunt.
It's so new metal.
Yeah.
It's very 2000s. Like
They all have cheekbones that are just like right there.
Yeah.
All pale. Not
and
doing
like,
so good.
It's grungy and it's gross, and if you're like someone who's into like new metal and just like that kind of shit, this book is definitely up your alley. But it's also like really funny and emotionally compelling, and this one is not just for the lesbians.
Even Dad's gonna like it.
Even Dad.
You mean even I?
Even you.
Even Grandpa's gonna love it. I love these girls. They're the best.
I think it's just really good character writing, and these characters could become iconic just by the force of the fandom alone. So guys, if you want to read something, if you're a reader, try Gideon the Ninth and Harrow the Ninth. It's the Locked Tomb trilogy, and the audiobook is also brilliant. It's performed by Moira Quirk, who puts a voice on for every single character.
I fucking love that.
And she does it so fucking well, except when she gets to the male voices, she kind of runs out really fast, so she defaults to old person, and I thought a character was like 80 for ages, but
that's
in
the
the
same
book,
with the dude who reads the Game of Thrones books.
Yeah.
It's like he has
does a lot of pantomime
he has
voices.
Dirty human and like honorable human, and those are the two voices.
Yeah.
it's such an art audiobook like reading.
Oh, when you get like someone who really knows what they're doing, they can make those stories so much better.
Exactly. And she's a person that I clicked on her name and I was like, what else has she read? Because I will listen to her voice. She
That's
is
fucking
that
cool.
good. So give it a go. Really niche thing that's becoming less niche really, really super quickly, and I love to see it. It so deserves it.
Cool. Brian,
Yes.
pick something from your pantheon. Brian, you have 13 different things here.
Yeah, so I like.
I'm just saying we have 47 games to talk about. But no, I don't want to dampen your enthusiasm.
No, we got 46 games. It's fine.
Oh well, in that case,
Yeah, no, it's fine. Unpregnant is a very good high school romp. Did you like it, Neil?
No, I just came out of nowhere. I didn't expect you to say the word unpregnant. I wasn't looking at a list.
I've been curious the entire time.
It's kind of like Booksmart, but this year's Booksmart.
Oh.
It's about two girls on a road trip because one of the girls needs to get an abortion. And she can't get it in her state because she's too young.
Unpregnant, I get it.
So they have to go to a different state where it's legal. And it's just a road trip about two girls that had a falling out at the beginning of high school, and they haven't really spoken to each other since. But she's the only girl who has a car, and she can keep her secrets to her, and they got to do it, and it's really sweet and beautiful. And I think this movie will age pretty well because I know a lot of teen romance sex comedies are really fucking creepy now. And like,
guys, I'm watching Dawson's Creek. Sorry.
Yeah, so like stuff hasn't aged well, and so like this is kind of like, you know, using that template, but like, you know, ticking the right boxes for it to be, you know, suitable.
Yeah.
And it has a foresight to it, which is great, and it's very funny, it's very cute, and it has some great moments, and it definitely feels like a road trip comedy where like they'll get to an area, they'll meet a character, and you know,
I love that. I like that kind of story a lot.
Yeah, and because it's about abortions and pro-choice, they meet a couple of pro-lifers as some of the antagonists, and all of that stuff is handled very well. They kind of do a good job of kind of lampooning it, but then at times when it's the serious part of the movie, they do it very tastefully and respectfully, and there isn't a joke for like 10-15 minutes because it deserves that like realism. And I thought that was very good. I think it's like a great film for teenagers to watch just because it kind of like grounds it in a reality that's relatable as a 90-minute popcorn movie, but also kind of has like the hard-hitting facts because it doesn't mislead you on something with false information.
I feel like the genre of teen movie has gotten really weird because I feel like there's not that many movies like made for teenagers about being teenagers. I feel like there's a lot aimed at like, you know, people in their early 20s, but like Avengers, or then like just, you know, big budget adaptations of like romantic novels and stuff. I feel like there's not a lot lately that speaks to teenagers, and it's cool to hear that something like this exists.
Yeah. No, it's a very good film. It does a lot right. There wasn't any missteps that I could kind of see.
Cool.
From watching it, and it's very funny.
Speaking of another movie that does a lot right with very little missteps that I could see, I watched Time Walker.
Space and time. Two dimensions we dream of conquering. But perhaps they have already been conquered. Not by man, but a form of intelligence far more evolved and far more powerful. A time walker.
Me and Brian both watched this one night, and holy fucking shit. Brian, do you want to describe just the basic premise of Time Walker?
It's a horror creature feature starring a mummy. It's a very special film.
It's a very, very special movie. Okay, look, I'm not even going to say too much. I'm just going to say me and Brian had a real time watching this, and there was a point where like the mummy was wandering around under a full moon, and I said, wouldn't it be really great if he took off his bandages and it was a werewolf underneath? That does not happen, but I feel like the direction that film goes surpasses that.
It was even better.
It was even better, and I'm just going to say, one of the most beautifully confident endings I have ever seen.
Yes.
Like, just fantastic.
And it's got some pretty good like monster movie kills as well. Like, you know, it's got someone getting like knocked off every 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it moves along at a good...
They're all pretty funny.
That's the weird thing. Like, it's a really stupid movie, but it's like competently made. Like, it's well shot, and it's like it's not boring, and
like The Mummy is a tricky horror movie monster to do something interesting with, because I know in the late 90s they did the Brendan Fraser mummy movies, but they're more like action romps. They are very good movies. I know there was the Tom Cruise mummy movie that kind of came and went, but like The Mummy is a classic horror movie villain, but there's so much potential there because of the Egyptian mythology with it.
And like, there's a kind of ambiguousness, because like, what is it? Is it like a strong zombie? Does it have magic powers? And in this movie, it's just all of the above.
Yeah.
It's very, very special. Neve.
I only put down 4 things because I thought we were going to bomb through this, and then Brian put down 13 things. So the only other thing I really, really wanted to talk about is Anakin Vader.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Star Wars.
Okay, so there was...
I'm really done with Star Wars. Oh, wow, you've never made that face at me before. Okay.
I also thought I was done with Star Wars, but it keeps coming back.
Yeah, no, Kathleen Kennedy said no. You will get 10 series.
Great.
And you will fucking like them all.
There's one called A Droid Story.
So
what the fuck is that?
That is a name on a whiteboard right now and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I was sitting on my couch and I like on Twitter, and then it came out like there will be 10 new Star Wars series, and I was just like, oh, okay, look, all I want is Hayden Christensen, Darth Vader. I don't really fucking care. Then literally an hour later, and right before the Game Awards, they announced that Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan series with Ewan McGregor, and I lost my fucking mind.
Do you remember those moments where it's like, oh shit, we might actually be in a Matrix? Because this is like, Neve is the only person who would want this.
Yes.
I've never met another person who'd be excited about this.
Like, people have rejected the prequels, like just people and just like Disney, like Lucasfilm, they were just like, okay, let's pretend those didn't happen. People did not fucking like them, and they did not like Hayden Christensen. And I've been like here with my hot tie of Hayden Christensen being like, no, he was great. I love Anakin. This is a good character, not a good character morally. Like, he murks a lot of kids.
He sure does.
He does kill a lot of children.
Yeah, he just like a lot of child murder.
He is very good thematically, and
yeah, he's an interesting character,
and he's actually a good actor, guys.
Yeah.
Like, cop on.
So, like, I'm just so happy to see Hayden Christensen come back and maybe get a second chance to, like, I don't know, fucking act, and, like, maybe not do it in front of only blue screens and green screens, like, to have physical props.
I mean, the poor fucking guy did what he could with that sand line. Like, what do you mean? How would you...
And I would argue that so much of that is like iconically Star Wars now. Like, so much of the weird absurdity of the prequels is kind of has this fun camp to it now. Like, I really like the prequels for how weird and absurd and campy they are.
They're addressing the prequels in The Mandalorian this season,
yeah,
which I really appreciate. They're bringing back actors, and like it is part of the canon, and they're doing it in a way that's not really stepping on anything, and it's just sort of like recognizing it, and like I want to see more.
Yeah,
it definitely makes you hungry for more.
I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't know about the 9 other shows in terms of Star Wars.
Brian, do you have any names for those of the shows?
There was one called A Droid Story, which made me laugh, and that was it. I think there's one called like there's one on
Rogue One.
There's one on Rogue One.
Prequel.
There's an Ahsoka one because she was in an episode of The Mandalorian and went down super well.
Okay, do you want to make up some?
Yeah.
A Wookiee's Journey.
Honestly, yeah, that could be it.
No, it would be called Chewbacca Goes to Hawaii. Please.
Chewbacca Goes to Hawaii. Okay. Padme's Mistake.
Which one?
Um,
So many poor decisions.
Oh my god!
Late Night with R2D2.
I would watch all of these.
Cooking with C-3PO.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god, I've set myself on fire.
I love C-3PO. He's such a sans.
Oh my god.
John, get out. Get out of my house.
Guys,
He's not such a...
look, I've been doing...
John,
Brian,
stop
you know,
talking.
there's this
stop
character
talking.
called Fresh Sans, and he looks exactly like you.
John, stop talking to me.
If everyone listening just Google Fresh Sans, and it's fucking Brian, and it's just...
Alright, I'm on my computer, let's see. Oh, hey.
Oh, he actually does.
Yeah. It popped up and I was like, what?
I actually do own those clothes. He's pretty radical. He's saying, yo.
He's a radical dude. Very popular character.
You know what you want to put on that, mate? You want to bang and dunk on it. Alright.
Okay, that's a British variant. He's a 90s dude most of the time. Anyway, what the fuck we were talking about?
We were talking about Star
Harry
Wars.
Potter?
I'm done.
I always get it mixed up.
What the fuck off?
John, That's so rude.
Which came first? I guess there's no way to tell.
Star Wars came out in 1977.
I think the first Harry Potter book was 1962.
I don't want to talk about this shit. The
Maybe
Mandalorian's
you look
good
sad.
as well.
You were talking about Star Wars a second ago.
Okay, how about other Star Wars spin-off shows?
Oh, Vader, ... question mark?
How about like Fizzlebob the Ewok and his gumdrop adventures?
Starkiller. Let's try again.
I liked Starkiller.
His name's still fucking Starkiller. I think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good.
How about At the Diner with that guy who runs the diner? And it's just like a Guy Fieri show. That's all I want.
That's 2 cooking shows.
Yeah.
They're all just cooking shows.
Cooking shows
cooking
do,
show.
yeah.
The Night Sisters cooking show.
Cooking shows do real well on streaming platforms.
They do, yeah.
You just dump them
very,
on.
very easy to get a kind of friendly vibe going. You shout some things at the camera person and they respond with some jibes. It's easy. Brian.
Yes.
Neve, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Give us another one from the vault.
Okay, The Sword of Trust is a movie that came out last year. I guess I watch more movies and TV shows, but what happened with me was that I will Google movies from last year that you missed, and you'll get like a list of all these like independent movies or movies that you saw a trailer of and then forgot about, and you're like, okay, and then you just add them to the list. This movie, Sword of Trust, is a very funny comedy that is like, it's very easy to watch with anyone in your family at Christmas time. Like, it's just one of those movies that you can like put on, but it's just about 2 women who bring in a sword that they've inherited, and it turns out the sword is from the American Civil War, and it sort of confirms a history that a certain group of people in America would want to be true, and all of a sudden they're in a bidding war for a bunch of racists who want the sword. And it's a deal where the 2 women and then the 2 guys who work at the pawn shop all have to work together to try and like deal with racists with a sword.
Wow.
It's a very good idea for a film.
Okay. That sounds pretty good.
It's very funny. Antebellum. Did you guys watch that movie?
It's a horror film, isn't it?
It's a horror movie. Came out in October. It stars Janelle Monáe, and she's very good in it. I love Janelle Monáe. This isn't a very good film though.
Oh.
I guess it's pretty much 12 Years a Slave meets M. Night Shyamalan's The Village movie.
Okay.
It's just like, it's just one of those movies where like you're watching it and you're like, I could see the movie they were trying to make, but this isn't the movie that got made. And like, it's about racism, it's about slavery in America during the 19th century, and the filmmakers used the exact same camera lenses that were used on Gone with the Wind for their film, for their cameras, which I thought was an interesting bit of trivia. So
did you notice it?
No, God, no. But like, but see what happened.
I don't get why people do that shit at all.
The reason why I know that was because I was like, why did they make this movie? What were they going for? And when that bit of trivia came up, I was like, oh, okay, so like they were aware of what they were trying to make. It's just not what was communicated successfully to the audience. Okay. The film is very annoying.
Brian, why is this on your list?
Because like it's just one of those movies that got talked about and people were like, what the fuck is this movie?
You need to call this out.
I do.
Okay, that I understand.
Yeah.
Man, fuck the orphanage.
Actually, there's another movie I watched called Bad Hair. That movie fucking sucks. That's another movie that's about racism in America towards black people, and it's directed by Justin Simien, who directed Dear White People, which is an okay movie that came out like nearly 10 years ago. And then he made the TV show, which I haven't watched. Then he made a second movie called Bad Hair, and it's set in 1980s corporate office America about a black girl who gets a new weave so that she can look so that she can kind of stand out at work and kind of go up the career ladder. But it turns out her weave is haunted.
Oh, that's kind of a fun premise. Like haunted hair is fun.
You'd think. It's terrible.
Oh, okay.
It's like, and like the cast is amazing. It has like it's got Laverne Cox as the hairdresser in it. Like she puts in the weave. It has Lena Waithe in it. She's in some shit films because she's in Ready Player One as well. I feel bad for her. She's in some crappy movies. This is just one of the most embarrassing films I've ever seen. I recommend if you want to see a bad movie.
It's bad when you get to calling something embarrassing.
Yeah, but then there's this horror movie I watched.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah,
I just want to talk about a podcast I watched, or I've started listening to, called Dead Eyes.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, it's about this actor who auditioned for Band of Brothers, and he got the part, right? And then one day his agent calls him up, and he's like, listen, there's some bad news about the part. Tom Hanks saw your audition tape, and he said you have dead eyes. And the guy has to come back in to re-audition in front of Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks fires him. And this turned out to be like a weirdly defining moment in this actor's life. And it's like his end goal is he wants to interview Tom Hanks about this because it like mildly traumatized him. And the actor's like this comedic actor, and he's quite funny, and he gets a lot of like different actors on who kind of give their own perspectives on it and stuff. It's pathetic.
Does he have dead eyes?
He asks every guest that, and they're always like, no, you have beautiful eyes.
But they're just being nice.
But what it is it's kind of this really interesting look into like casting and casting directors and acting and auditions and all this kind of stuff. And it's a real insight into that really fucking strange world, because people have all these like crazy perspectives on what happened. Like some people think it was like this kind of power struggle between Tom Hanks and the producers of Band of Brothers. And it's also just about failure. Like it's about a lot of different actors coming on and telling their own like dead eyes stories and how they got kind of fucked up. And it's interesting. There are definitely times I'm listening to this podcast being like, this guy needs to fucking get over it. But then like there's other point, like he has like Seth Rogen on, and Seth Rogen has his own story, and like just a lot of it's fun. I quite enjoy it. Go for it, Brian.
Okay, I'll do one last movie, and it's called Killer Weekend. This movie is one of the most badly made films I've ever seen in my life, and I loved it. I think everybody should watch Killer Weekend. It is an independent film shot in LA on location, and sometimes they shoot at restaurants, sometimes they shoot in the interior of someone's house and make it look like a restaurant. It is
not well enough, apparently.
No, it's not very good. Characters are constantly talking over each other, and that was the best take they had. And nobody knows about this movie, and I need everyone to know about how bad this movie is.
It has a 2.5 on IMDb.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a really good number.
And the description is: a sexy young co-ed enjoys a lavish lifestyle thanks to a sugar daddy dating app.
That's it. So it's about a blonde girl and her sugar daddies, but guess what? She kills them. She poisons them. So what she does is...
why would you do that?
She drains their money, because there's a bit where she's like, hey baby, I'd like the new iPhone. And he's like, sure thing. And he gets her the new iPhone. Then later that night, she poisons him. She's so dangerous.
Have you guys ever thought about getting sugar daddies?
I don't think I'm young enough anymore.
Poppycock, Neve.
I think we are now sugar daddies and mommies.
I still think I could do it.
No, you're in your 30s.
No,
Once you go over 30, you have to be a sugar daddy.
I think Neve's like weirdly ageist. Do you ever find that? It's very inappropriate.
So John,
you brought him sugar.
So John wants like an older woman to tickle him until he pisses his pants.
I don't. Why does this tickling shit keep coming up with you?
So John wants an older woman to dress like
Tifa
and punch him in the face.
I'm not comfortable with this at all. Let's move on.
Okay. So
I was going to try and get Neve to do another apology, Brian.
Oh, don't worry. That'll happen later on.
I will apologize a lot.
So it's about a girl who kills sugar daddies, but she gets matched up with a guy who's a sugar daddy, but he's a serial killer too. And it becomes this really, really, really terrible game of cat and mouse where they're trying to kill each other.
I like movies where they get to the point where it's like, what if we added another serial killer?
And the movie goes places, and you think you know how it's going to end, and it doesn't end that way. It ends even worse, and I loved it for it.
Okay.
There's a bit where she's got like one-to-one sessions with her psychiatrist, and you can tell they were all shot on the same day, and it's with the only known actor. Michael Biehn is the psychiatrist, who was Kyle Reese in the original Terminator movie. he's not doing real good at the moment, guys.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate.
He's in this terrible, terrible film. It's called Killer Weekend. Watch it with the whole family. Grandma's gonna love it. It's atrocious. Brilliant film.
Okay, guys, we have a lot of news to catch up on, so I'm just going to start at the start, okay? According to a leak, the Xbox Series S is going to be $300. Do you guys think that's going to play out? Or
Can I talk about manga? Been reading a lot of manga. Helps me fall asleep. Not a fan of anime, but for some reason I love manga. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I just like it.
anime takes a patience sometimes. I'm like, do I want to sit down with this?
Yeah. I read Bokurano, Ours. That's the full name. I was calling it Bokurano, but it's Bokurano, Ours. This came out in the mid-2000s, and it's a mix-up of Evangelion meets, like, I guess kind of Gantz as well.
Came out before Madoka, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out before Madoka.
It's one of those series that came out before Madoka where you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because it's got a chibi creature who offers a group of children the chance to pilot a mech at the cost of their soul.
He kind of leaves that last part out, though.
Yeah, just like Madoka. And so it's a mecha manga, and every time a child pilots the mech, they all sit in a chair of their own choice, and they're in their mech that's sort of kaiju-esque. It's made out of a material that nobody can determine what planet it's from, and they fight other surreal-looking creatures, and
They're kind of like the angels from Evangelion, like
very
they just
similar.
appear.
And it gets very, very dark and cerebral. It doesn't get experimental like Evangelion does, but it definitely gets a lot of teenagers having to question: are they doing it for themselves or not? And it at the start they're being selfish, but then they have to become selfless, and it's very sad. And the ending is pretty satisfying, and it takes place in like an alternate version of our planet where the Axis won, and so technology is slightly different, and the global politics are slightly different, and it kind of so it starts off in Japan, but then it becomes like a global issue, and the different aliens attack all over the world. There's one where they have to fight an alien that can move incredibly fast, and so it goes all the way over to Hawaii, and they have to cross the Pacific Ocean, but they don't have enough time to defeat it in time, so then they have to try an alternate way of defeating it. It's got some cool Monster of the Week battles.
Cool.
And it's very, very sad and difficult, and it's tough. I read a manga called As the Gods Will, which I kept telling you about, John.
I'm reading it.
It is some top tier junk food bullshit. I love it. It's just Gantz meets Danganronpa. It's very important that it has Gantz in it, because that is some weird edgy misery bullshit. Mm-hmm. It definitely kind of takes the piss out of a lot of tropes of like, you're in a school but you're also in a game of death, and it'll introduce like, the main character who has like nothing going on, but he's the main character and everyone thinks he's amazing. Has a bunch of female characters, and it's got this like, oh, she's got nothing but she's going to be his girlfriend, but then they kind of get fleshed out a bit later on, which is great. There's always like an older senpai like character, and it seems like the author was fucking around because he told it once and then ended it and then told it again from a different perspective, and then like joined the two stories later on.
Brian, could you tell us about... You told me about a bit with like a flash forward to another character.
Yeah. So there's a bit where the main character is running away from the monster attacking the school, and he hides behind the corner of one of the buildings, and there's a big tall like basketball student there, and he's like, hey, stick with me and you'll be okay. And the main character's like, whoa, who are you? Because his voice is always read in that kind of voice, and he's like, my name is, I don't know, he says his name, and he's like, you just kind of remind me of my kid brother. And then it kind of goes into a flashback, and it has like the basketball match, and then his kid brother being like, wow, you're going to be in the main team. And he's like, yeah, but then his brother got sick. But then the flashback gets abruptly cut because the character got killed off. Which I think is a very funny way of
great.
like,
yeah,
because like that's such a cliche thing to do, and just to be like, nah, fuck that. But it's definitely one of those things where like the person making this will just drop ideas and make up new ideas. The ending isn't very good, but I think that's the point. It's like fuck you for reading all of this. This is what you deserve. So fair enough. Then the last manga I read is Ikigami, The Ultimate Limit, in which it takes place in an alternate reality of ours where to keep society in order, when children are vaccinated at school at the age of 5 or 6, there's, I think it's like a 1 in 500 chance that they will be injected with a nanomachine that will activate between the ages of 18 and 24 and give them a heart attack and die.
Why?
And the idea is that way the youth will value their life and conform to society, and it reduces antisocial behavior. And it's this weird totalitarian.
I don't even think it's a good idea.
It's this weird look at like a reality where everyone kind of falls in line and everyone kind of talks greatly about being, you know, a benefactor to the run of society, but that there's a seething kind of disgust and wanting for rebellion as well. And each story is 3 chapters long. It kind of covers a volume each story, but it'll follow a person being delivered their piece of their official document telling them that they have 24 hours left to live. And there's all these rules to the Ikigami where that the person receiving it is usually like an 18-year-old, and they can do whatever they want for the last 24 hours as long as it's not a crime, because if they commit a crime, their family will be like socially excluded, but also their family are meant to receive like a compensation, like a big financial compensation, but that doesn't go through if the person commits a crime. And so it's different versions of people accepting their death, and some of them are really, really like sweet, and some of them are awful.
Is it randomized who dies?
Yeah.
So that's how they keep people in check? Like any one of you could go, and maybe it's you doing something out of line that will make it be you, kind of thing? Pretty
much. And the country, it doesn't say what country it is, but there's one story where a character tries to escape to another country within the time limit so that they can have another vaccination to destroy the nanomachine. I think that's it's like it really goes places, and it does like a different thing with each storyline, which I thought was interesting. And like it follows the protagonist is the guy who delivers the Ikigami, but in some chapters it's not about him at all, which is kind of cool. It's weird. I liked it.
Cool. Is that everything?
I think so. Wait.
Yeah.
I watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I thought that was a bad, shitty movie.
It's not good.
Yeah, did not like that one bit. A lot of great actors.
Yeah, amazing cast.
Like, this is a movie that has a dance sequence that I thought sucked ass.
Wow.
I love dance sequences. When I see them crop up in a movie, I'm like, great, more of those. With this one, I was like, boo, bad.
Was the dancing bad, or was the placement in the film
just
bad?
What it was trying to communicate, it was just like it was just crap.
It was a waste of time.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. Like, after, like, I made my girlfriend watch it with me, and I apologized to her afterwards.
Oh, I hate that.
I was like, I'm sorry I made you watch that. I thought that would be better because it was bad.
I really thought it was going to get good when they got to the house.
The house bit is the best because it has
Toni Collette.
Yeah, Toni Collette and her scary little face, and just really great acting and some like good freaky moments of kind of just placement, and the house is kind of alive, and you know, people come into rooms and they forget what has happened and they're a different person, or like,
that sounds really fun.
Yeah, it seems trippy and cool, but it is in service to nothing.
Okay.
At least I found it to be
say
nothing.
about 90 minutes of the movie, because the movie's like 2.5 hours long. I'd say
that's too long for this idea.
I'd say 90 minutes of the movie is the couple in the car driving to the house and then driving from the house, and it's just like close up of each character and then a wide shot. And the dialogue is really uninspired, and it's just not good. And it sucks because the cast is amazing. It's just they don't have good material.
I just wanted to rag on that movie because it had an amazing trailer.
I get it. I understand.
It's a very good
Sometimes
trailer.
you just need to reach out and do some damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, let's say we cut the bullshit here.
It's been an hour.
It's been an hour. That's about the right amount of time.
Yeah.
We're going to start off with some mini awards. we have Best New Character, Best Old Game, and the highly valued Biggest Shit Show Award. Now, we're going to start with Best Old Game, and I'm going to read the nominees. 2017's A Hat in Time, 2018's Among Us, I had to check that. 1992's For the Frog, the Bell Tolls.
Yes.
2019's Ring Fit Adventure. 2009's Resident Evil 5. 2018's Senran Kagura Burst Renewal. And 2006's Sonic Genesis Advance.
No.
Okay, Bern, you want to immediately start by cutting Sonic Genesis Advance?
Yeah, it's one of the worst games I've ever played. I'm so glad I got to play it.
This is the award for it then, for sure.
Yeah, best old game. I just wanted to give it a shout out. It's just the latency on this character mascot platformer is so bad. It's the worst port of anything ever. Sonic Genesis Advance for the Game Boy Advance. A piece of poo of a game.
Neve, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, cut Sonic, cut A Hat in Time.
I want to talk about Hat in Time.
No, let's cut it.
Neo!
Cut Among Us and that the one with the frog.
No.
Okay, you know what? I think I can get behind cutting A Hat in Time and Among Us.
Oh yeah.
I have not played for the Frog, the Bell Tolls. But the shit Brian showed me from it was really fucking cool.
It's my favorite game I played this year. Better than any game that came out in 2020. But can I talk about Hat in Time? I just want to say something real quick about A Hat in
Go
Time. For years, everyone's been like, Brian, I think you'd love A Hat in Time. And I'm like, you don't know what I'd like. Finally played it this year. I love A Hat in Time. It's like a game made just for me. The DLC where you play in the Nyakuza Metro with the Nyakuza, who are cat Yakuza.
Very good.
Is very, very fun. Controls are great. Hack Kid's super cool. It's a Kickstarter game and it feels like it at the start, but they really, really refined it towards the end. I think they kind of like made it in order, which is kind of a weird way to make a game. But it's a better game than Super Mario Odyssey, that's for sure.
Wow. But yeah, let's fucking get rid of Resident Evil 5.
Resident Evil 4 is better than Eve.
Resident Evil 5 is a really great co-op game, which is why it's down here, because in the year 2020 you want a way to hang out with someone. Resident Evil 5 is
let's move on to who cares.
It is a very good co-op game. It's probably the best feature of Resident Evil 5 is the co-op.
It is a
great co-op. I bet it's a fun time co-op.
Because the menu isn't very good and the treasure selling isn't very fun.
Okay, so the top three then are Ring Fit Adventure, For the Frog, the Bell Tolls, and Senran Kagura Renewal Burst. I don't know how I got that in there.
Why is that there?
Because it's a fucking great game. I spent 60 hours on that game.
Do we not want to say anything about
serious?
Among Us?
You spent 60 hours in Senran Kagura?
Okay, I guess we're going to talk about it. You don't want to talk about Among Us.
Among Us is cool.
Yeah, it's a cool game.
Really, really cool.
I think I preferred the people I played with rather than the game.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is that game.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, if you're playing that with a bunch of strangers, I can't imagine that it's very fun.
No, it's the people.
But yeah,
that
we got a little group together and we did some games, and I hope we get to do some more over Christmas or something, because I really like that game. I think it's really clever, but yeah, if I wasn't playing with the people I was playing with, I would have no interest.
It is again another perfect 2020 game where it kind of brings people together through its mechanics, and it was just a time where people needed a way to hang out in a group, and it seems like ripe to explode in 2020.
Yeah.
And it did, and it was crazy, but also I played like 10 rounds and I was never the imposter.
That
sucked.
Yeah.
Because like I think there's some people who find being the imposter really like stressful and they don't like it. I love being the imposter. I'm so disappointed when I don't get to be the imposter, and I'd say you're the same, Neve. Like I'd say you'd love it.
I wanted to kill my friends. That's all I've ever wanted to do, and the chance I get to do it, it was never given to me.
I feel like we could maybe dig into that sentence a little, but we're okay.
No, I think it speaks for itself. Thank you, Neve.
Thank you, Neve.
Senran Kagura Burst.
Senran Kagura
Renewal Burst.
It's actually Burst Renewal, but I mean, whatever.
Is it?
I don't know. Okay, so I think one thing I kind of want to talk about with this is that At the start of this year, I said that I thought Senran Kagura Renewal Burst is a better game than Titanfall 2. And I just want to say I stand by that. You can do whatever you want with it.
Well, it's cut. It's just some booby fucking garbage.
Oh, come on. Neil's boobs are cool.
I feel like, though, like, if...
Neil's smiling.
I feel like it's a very similar game to like Nier Automata, where like most of the appeal is like kind of the sexuality of its characters.
It's got maids that show a bit of leg.
Yeah, I feel like there's kind of maybe a double standard going on here.
They both carry swords on their back.
Yeah,
both have haunting soundtracks.
So the winner is Resident Evil 5.
No, that's cut. That's gone.
Okay, it's a toss between Ring Fit Adventure and For the Frog, the Bell Tolls. Ring Fit Adventure is very good.
I have played a lot of Ring Fit Adventure. I really, really like that game. I think it's like it's like a proper exercise game. But you've been playing it as well.
Sorry, I'm eating a very healthy apple.
We could fill space, but why don't we just let her get over this?
This is good. Oh,
I too have been playing Ring Fit Adventure. It's a good way to move your body. I felt really trapped in the house this year, and I also don't like going outside and running outside or cycling outside because I can't cycle, and I don't like being in public.
Wait, you can't?
Yeah,
we've been through this.
she can't cycle a bike and she can't swim.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I'm a land mammal, like a goat.
There's so many ways, Neve, I feel like you shouldn't be able to survive, but somehow you do.
I'm very likable.
That's not
That's
true.
Not it. I'm very lucky.
She's very lucky, and she can debate you into tiredness, and it's a skill.
As
I'm
we shall
lucky
see.
and annoying. Ring Fit Adventure, it was like just kind of shocking in how they managed to actually gamify like workouts in a real way.
And it's such a like marketing thing to say, but that's what they did, and they did it well.
Yeah, compared to like the previous installments, which would have been like the Wii Fit games, which are just bare bones kind of iPad games on the TV.
Yeah, and like there's so many nice little touches, like when you like hover your cursor over like a monster you're about to attack, they like look nervous, like they get scared, and they have all these like really cute little animations. I love some of the designs, like the yoga ball. It's just a big yoga ball with eyes and looks really stupid. And
like, it's really an RPG. Different enemies have different weaknesses. So it's like, and it's all assigned to parts of your body. So some enemies might be weaker to arm workouts. So you work out your arms and you're able to knock out those enemies, and they're all color coded. So you really feel like you're going on an adventure. And the drama between Ringy and the sexy dragon, Drago, seems real, and like I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I think Drago might be doping, but I also think Ringy's kind of shady. He seems like a bit of a shady character who's overly obsessed with Drago, and this is way more into a story in a fitness game that anybody should be.
It's a relationship, and it's well done. Like, I want to see what happens here, although I know what happens at the end of this game.
Did you beat it?
No, I don't know if I'll ever beat it, because it takes me so fucking long to get through a level, because I do it on hard, and you just like, it takes me an hour to get through like 2 levels, but it's great. But then this name is so, For the Frog, the Bell Tolls.
This was just a really special game that put a smile on my face.
That's not a reason for something to win, Brian.
It already won in my mind. It's already number 1 in my heart. I just really like Game Boy games, and I've been adjacent to this game for years with A Link's Awakening, where they keep going, look everyone, it's Richard, and you're like, who gives a shit? Why is Richard so important? Now I know why Richard is so important to everyone. It's because he's in this game about frogs. Like, do you guys like frogs?
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Then you'd like this game. There's so many frogs in this game, and like the central theme of this game is frogs.
That's its message.
Yeah, like at the end of the game, it just says, you know what, frogs.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah. But the thing is, there's going to be a game next year that I'll be getting real into that might even push this over the edge. So, you know me and frogs.
Yeah.
I might be like, I'm cool with Ring Fit Adventure winning best old game if I put all my frogs into the next year.
I'm not sure I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Look, me and the frogs are working together. We're planning something.
I'm hearing, Brian, that you're happy to concede Ring Fit Adventure on this one.
Yeah, but I just want everyone to know that frogs are brilliant. And if you have a problem with frogs, you have a problem with me and everyone. Okay?
That's strong words.
And like, they're not even my favorite animal. They're like maybe my 6th favorite animal. I just think frogs are good. They've done nothing wrong. Leave them alone.
Congratulations to Ring Fit Adventure, the best old game of 2020. Okay, next award, best new character. Neve, why don't you run these down?
Abby, The Last of Us 2. BJ, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Bobby, Paper Mario, The Origami King. Cherry Hunter, Streets of Rage 4. CLG, Deadly Premonition 2. Ichiban, Yakuza 7. And Zagreus from Hades.
That's a pretty good list.
There's some cool characters. Some
really
of them
cool
are
characters.
main characters, some of them are side characters, but they all play a special role in their respective games.
For me, the weak link here is BJ.
Yeah.
But he says Natsuno.
That's all he says.
Yeah, he's great.
He's the cute robot from the thing. He's R2D2. He's the little sphere thing. That's what he is, right?
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
little
he is.
mascot character. Let's get rid of him.
And when you find out what BJ is, you will be mildly surprised. Bye, BJ.
Bye, BJ. Okay, Brian,
Yeah.
you just lost one of your little dudes. Take some revenge.
CLG from Deadly Premonition 2.
Nope.
Who's CLG?
Clever little girl. She is your assistance for... She's like your little sidekick. She's like this little child character who's not annoying at all. She's fucking hilarious. She thinks York is a weirdo. She spends most of the game insulting him. She's really, really great, and she's really well written, and a lot of the best parts of it are just finding out what kind of movies she likes. She's not a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Is she the one that was like... Because you know the way we watch Time Walker, is she the one that recommended Time Walker?
No, your Agent York Morgan recommended Time Walker.
Okay.
The most realistic movie he's ever seen.
Because see, John was watching all these really strange films, and it's because they were all in Deadly Premonition 2.
Hey, let me tell you about Cat People. Don't watch Cat People.
No.
I'm gonna watch Death Ship next.
Abby seems like a cool character. Keep her around for a bit.
Yeah, Abby's cool.
Yeah, he's cool.
Is she cooler than Cherry Hunter?
Yeah. Cherry Hunter's great.
Cherry
She's
Hunter,
a really good
Cherry Hunter's
character.
great. She is an aesthetic.
Yeah, like Cherry, like it's Streets of Rage. She doesn't really say much,
Okay.
but she's cool and she looks cool and her fighting style's cool.
Oh, I think she's like the most fun to play as in that whole game. You know what? I can let CLG go because there are some strong other characters on this list.
Okay.
And she's a great part of that game, but I think there's other characters, nearly all the other characters on this list, like, they are a big part of why those games are good or work. Brian, I'm a big fan of Bobby.
Do you know what happens to Bobby?
Not yet. I'm a big fan of his cadence.
Okay. People who've played Paper Mario the Origami King and are familiar with the character Bobby are all cheering for Bobby right now.
Okay.
Because there is a bit in that game and Bobby fucking steps up. He's one of the best things about that game.
Okay.
I love Bobby.
So, Brian, I'm getting the feeling you want to lock in Bobby for a top 3.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so that means we have to cut either Abby, Ichiban, or Zagreus.
Let's cut Zagreus.
He talks to
He's
more
so nice.
He's lovely.
Yeah, he's lovely, but like that's it.
He talks to more interesting characters in the game. But like,
He does.
I do love his dialogue. I like that he calls people lads. I like how casual
I
he
do
talks.
feel like maybe a lot of the character's charm is the voice acting.
Yeah.
Like, that is such an amazing performance.
I do find the cadence in which he says "lads" and "mate" really weird. Like
Hello,
he's
mate.
not used to saying it.
Well,
at all.
it's because he's from San Francisco and he doesn't get it.
Yeah, it's the way he drops that "mate" it makes it seem mean rather than friendly.
I can see that.
But yeah, Zagreus is the least interesting part of Hades.
But he's very, like, he is likable.
He's likable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
everyone else is just way more interesting.
Yeah.
And I like his color palette. I like his design.
His little red feet.
Yeah, he's cool. Cool
Yeah.
guy.
Real cool guy. Okay, so we got Abby from Last of Us Part 2, Bobby from Paper Mario the Origami King, and Ichiban from Yakuza 7.
Ichiban's a pretty cool guy as well.
Yeah, I like Ichiban a lot. He's very endearingly optimistic for someone who got out of prison and was let down so hard.
Yeah,
He is the best part about that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think like his story and how they started off so strong is what kind of pulled me into that game early on. And it is nice to see a character who is just like kind of innocent and stupid, but also boundlessly optimistic. And like, yeah, I quite like Ichiban. Like his whole story about like being raised in like soaplands and stuff, like basically like I guess they're like Japanese brothels. Like it was interesting. I thought it was a really interesting take on that character. I think like he does embody that thing that's kind of prevalent through Yakuza 7 of like people in weak positions rising up, and I like that about him. I like Abby.
I think Abby is probably the best part of The Last of Us Part 2. There was a lot of humanizing moment for Abby in that game that made me like her a lot. I also think it's cool just to get a woman's body rendered like that, because for some reason games want to shy away from women with muscles, and Abby was not shied away from at all, and she looks
it's so
right.
baffling to me that people think that, and that is partially because of my Instagram feed is what it is, but it's like she's not even like that ripped. Like she's a woman who works out a lot, but it's not like
she's practically buff. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
it's not like a fantasy.
It makes sense,
Like you
yeah.
can see women like that. Like,
but people were so dead set on like proving how it wouldn't make sense in such a weird way.
I don't get it, because the response is like, okay, but look at this actual woman who's real.
But generally I do like Abby as a character.
What was you see? I guess I thought Abby was cool. I liked Lev better than I liked Abby. I kind of feel like Lev should be here.
Well, he's not. Abby's here.
sorry, Lev.
Okay, well, with that in mind,
I would let Abby go for Ichiban, unless you guys want to argue it either way.
I feel, I would push Ichiban. I nearly feel like Brian is more passionate about Bobby than I am about
I am
Ichiban.
very passionate, but see, like, I don't want to say too much about Bobby either, because I think, like, I really recommend Paper Mario and the
Okay,
Origami
but
King.
even I've only been like with Bobby for like an hour or two, and I kind of get it. He's a very charming character. He's very realistically wrote. Like your whole interaction where he's kind of like, he wants you to invite him into your party and you don't have to invite. It's fucking cool.
Okay, but a year from now, and we're looking through like the awards we give out, and we'll be like, we get Bobby from Origami King best character. Does that sound right to you guys?
I'm gonna be thinking about I'll probably think about Origami King from time to time. I'm gonna think about Bobby for the rest of my life.
So you think the people who have played Origami King, Bobby is the standout character of that whole entire experience? There's no better character in that game than Bobby.
Three separate people have gone, Did you get to that bit? And I was like, yeah.
I mean, I don't agree. I think you make a good point, Neve, but I also feel like
it's a fucking Bob-omb.
I don't know I have it in me to take Brian down on this one.
Yeah, me neither. I don't think I'm gonna fight like Abby or Ichiban to the top.
I would fight Bobby to the end. He's like, Paper Mario Origami King is a great game. I enjoyed it. I still way prefer Thousand Year Door, but Bobby is the best partner Mario has ever had, and like, he's just controlled by the computer. He's
better than Vivi or Vivian. What's her name? The purple fucking ghost.
I love Vivian. She's fantastic. Bobby broke my heart.
I mean, I don't know, Neve.
Yeah, Ichiban and Abby didn't break my heart.
No. Well, Ichiban did, but we'll get to it.
Let's go with Bobby. No one said these awards were good.
Can we just look at
if
it?
you're angry right now, if you expect anything from these awards, this is the other thing I forgot to say earlier. This is going to be a compromised mess of a list. There is like psychological games happening. There's going to be things we let go so we can push other things. That's why Devil May Cry didn't go further last year. I got shit for that. You guys didn't get shit for that. People were angry at me for not fighting harder for Devil May Cry. I had other things to push.
We have to play a game, and we have to sacrifice pawns for the kings and queens. Just how it is. So Bobby's a bob-omb. He has feet. He doesn't have legs because, he's a stubby little creature. They've managed to successfully design him in a way that looks like his legs are crossed when Mario first meets him on the chairlift. That's amazing.
Best new character.
And he has an obvious design flaw that you don't even realize is there until it needs to be there for a narrative reason, and you get goosebumps. It's fucking amazing.
Is it that he doesn't have his wick?
Okay, this discussion's back open. Oh, Brian.
He's fucking amazing.
Okay.
Congratulations,
I must
Bobby.
say, I did not see that going that way, but I guess Bobby is the best new character. Okay.
Us Bobites, we get it. Us Bob-ombs, we're gonna stick it together. We're gonna go out with a bang, okay?
Do you have any more you want to get in there?
Boom. That's what I gotta say.
Okay. We could play that POD song, Boom.
We could do a lot of things.
Biggest shit show. Brian, why don't you run us down this list?
Okay. We have the GameSpot Spider-Man review with the quote, "All the exaggerated swagger of a black teenager." Oh my god. We have a tweet from a man called Jeff Kanata, who... We will read out the full thing, but an excerpt of it is The Last of Us Part 2, the Schindler's List of video games. We have Lab Zero Games has a scummy boss. We have Ubisoft has even more scummy bosses. We have PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series pre-order fiasco with the bot shopping and the scalping. Then we have Greg Ellis of Dragon Age makes a PSA to his colonites. And then finally we have Minecraft Steve's big massive dick.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so I think I would personally cut the GameSpot review with the quote, "All the exaggerated swagger of a black teenager." This was a really fucking stupid line that people memed on very hard for like 48 hours, but it kind of passed after that.
I don't know. Who's Lab Zero?
Lab Zero Games are the developers behind Skullgirls and Indivisible.
Oh, yeah, this dissolved
was
the whole
bad.
company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this was real
No, the
fucking
thing
bad.
is, there are two bullet points here. The Lab Zero Games story and the Ubisoft story were they're not really shit shows. They're just awful situations. So I guess the whole idea of a shit show is that
the spirit of this award is there has to be some kind of like mildly like lighthearted element to it.
Yeah.
Especially with Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft has been a fucking nightmare company. Like, I think the people who run that place should be absolutely ashamed. It's appalling.
Those are the Guillermo brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a friend of this podcast who works for Ubisoft, and hearing what they've had to say about it, it's like as bad as everything you're hearing and worse. Like, it's just terrible. And so, like, I'd say for that reason, because, like, you know, don't really want to give an award to these fucking people, even a biggest shit show. Lab Zero, this was kind of down to the toxicity of one person. It was less like from the sounds of it, it sounded like less of an institutional thing. But I think the guy's name is Mike Z. Mike Z, yeah.
And I'd say I hope he never works in games again.
Yeah, there was a lot of different things, but like one of the biggest things on stream was like he made a can't breathe joke.
Oh, gross.
Days after like the George Floyd stuff, and then I think a lot of stuff came out from there, and the company basically dissolved. It sucks because I love Lab Zero, and a lot of very talented people who are not him, like Mario and stuff, like they did a lot of really great work there. And you know, the Skullgirls community is like noted for being like, you know, very accepting of new people and very like diverse and stuff, and it fucking sucks to see that. It maybe feels like a little too close to what we're talking about, what we just said about Ubisoft, to kind of for the spirit of this award.
So we cut Lab Zero and we cut Ubisoft.
Yeah. Do you want to read out that Jeff Kanata tweet?
I think we should cut Minecraft Steve's big massive dick because
Whoa!
They already cut it in the game.
Neve 2020. I think we should cut Minecraft Steve's big massive dick.
Not just yet.
Okay.
It's just
because it's really funny.
Just a hell of a quote.
I've got the Jeff Kanata tweet here.
Okay.
So it's a Twitter tweet thread, I guess, and it's the second one down. And so Jeff Kanata describes himself as a father, husband, actor, show host, DM, gamer, VR enthusiast, runner. I love all things geeks and sneaks.
This tweet.
Yeah, and it's still up. He didn't delete it.
Fair play. Stand by what you believe in, Jeff.
So
that's the gumption that's got you here.
So he's talking about Last of Us Part 2, and one tweet down he goes, in a medium where everything is John Wick, The Last of Us Part 2 is Schindler's List. And just like that film, there were times where I wasn't sure I could keep going. It is a relentless emotional assault that I suspect will force even the most jaded gamer to feel empathy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good third-person shooter.
There you go, Jeff.
I mean, it's embarrassing. It's wince-inducing. I don't think it's maybe on the scale of some of these other things.
That's like an embarrassing dad tweet. That's all that is.
Yeah.
And given everything else that happened with The Last of Us 2 in its release.
And Druckmann having like weird meltdowns with like journalists.
Yeah, just like everything
Guys,
else.
Jason Schreier is attacking the game.
He's bullying him. And then Troy Baker having to come in and like protect him.
Okay, so it seems we got our three here. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X pre-order fiasco. Greg Ellis, Dragon Age, makes PSA to his comments. Minecraft Steve's big massive dick.
I just think that the fact that Minecraft Steve's big massive dick got a personal reaction from Phil Spencer means that it's gonna do well, because Phil was being interviewed about something Microsoft were doing, and then mid-interview they went, oh, by the way, Minecraft Steve just came out in Smash. Have you seen his like win animation? And he was like, no. And then and then an assistant handed him a phone, and he saw the screenshot, and he went, oh, well, that'll get fixed.
So if you're not familiar, it's because Minecraft Steve has like a ham in the game, but the problem is there's like in one of his win animations he's eating the ham and then drops his like arm to like his side at like the last second, but it means the last frame is just this piece of like pink ham coming up into shot from Minecraft Steve's crotch. It really looks like a dick.
It's pretty big too.
Yeah. Oh, like I respect that part.
I think we should cut it because it's not a biggest shit show. I think it was like a big
It was a
surprise.
wild 24 hours.
Yeah, it was.
And that got patched super quickly. But honestly, probably less of a shit show and more of a...
Made my day.
Yeah.
It was just very funny.
Just great. Just good shit.
I just like Phil's reaction to it. It was just very honest.
That's the part that makes it for me. Like, I love you see just like decades of PR training kick in and he just goes... Yeah, we'll have that fixed. Like, what a killer. Okay, so PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, pre-order fiasco, bot shopping and scalping. Don't feel like we need to explain that one. Like,
I think that's my winner, personally.
Yeah. It was
There
awful.
are so many horror stories out of
Yeah,
it.
it's terrible. And like the amount of money people are making over this stuff.
I read an article, what was it, like 54 million or something in profit made by scalpers through like bot shopping and like specifically the PlayStation 5 and the new video cards. It just sucks. It's a console release year. You kind of, the people who want to get them just absolutely cannot get a PlayStation.
Did you see the guy, the really famous tweet that went around to the guy with like 40 PlayStation 5s? He was like, I don't know if he got robbed, did he? Or because it was...
There was another one and someone found his geotag location and...
Okay, because the one I saw
got gold
was
dust.
he was like $1,100 per console, deal with it, and then someone just replied below it, free when I get the address. Neve, I hear you in terms of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series.
John, me and you have been refreshing pages for so long.
We don't talk about our personal lives, Neve.
Just so long.
But at the same time, dude, this Greg Ellis shit, like, I felt like I was having like a transcendental awakening listening to this fucking thing. If you're not familiar, Greg Ellis, an actor on Dragon Age, has been called out for some just shitty stuff, like kind of some homophobia, transphobia, stuff like that. I don't really know who the dude is. I don't really fucking care that much, but where this got interesting was he released how long was it?
14 minutes.
14-minute video addressed to his Cullenites. He plays a character called Cullen in Dragon Age.
Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition. I think he's Cullen, and maybe 2. He's Anders.
And in this video, he is addressing the situation of like cancel culture in character as Cullen, talking about himself as Greg Ellis in third person. And it is the cringy, like, without hyperbole, I think the cringiest thing I've ever heard. It's fucking insane. So he delivers the entire monologue like this. We need to sign a manifest and a woman effest. And his whole revolutionary idea for stopping cancel culture and toxicity online is to create a chivalric code, which is the code of chivalry. So you see a lady coming, you put your fucking jacket down for her, open doors for her, all that shit. It takes him 14 minutes to say something less coherent than that. And he does it all in fucking character. And it is like, it reeks of like a dude who, a like 40-year-old dude who has just, like, YouTube has just recommended him a Ben Shapiro video for the first time. As a video game character, it is the most obnoxious shit you will ever hear in your life. And it is fucking beautiful. It's like art. It's like such a perfectly terrible thing. And no, it is not as like wide-reaching as the PlayStation shit, but the passion and soul in this thing, the awful, awful passion and soul. And you know what? You can't even get it anymore because he took it down in like 15 hours because it had so many dislikes. And I remember you linked it to us, Neve, and I immediately downloaded it because there was no fucking way I knew this was going to stay up. It was impossible. And now it's just my little treasure, and I just listen to it sometimes because I just want to stare into the fucking void.
Is Dragon Age a medieval fantasy series?
Yeah, it's high fantasy.
And this high fantasy character actually says the phrase cancel culture.
Can I play a little bit of it? Oh, he does say cancel culture.
Well, he does in his PSA, but not in the game.
No, I just think it's very funny that a medieval character knows cancel culture.
Cullen's problem with BioWare was that they weren't defending him for being a transphobe. And the reason people called him transphobic was because he was like, I really respect J.K. Rowling. And it's like, and then he was like, and in the video he's like, people even went after J.K. Rowling for promoting children's pictures. And it's like, no, dude, that's not why people are angry at J.K. Rowling. Can I just play a tiny bit of it? I just need people to get the tone.
Just go for it.
Okay, go for it. Oh, Jesus Christ.
My name is Cullen. Cullen Rutherford.
You can hear his penis.
I am a popular fictional
For
character
fuck's
in a
sake.
video game tragically. A small vocal mob of social justice warriors attempted to have me and my voice actor Greg Ellis tossed into the cancel culture wastelands. An ignorant few bigots made wild aspersions, outlandish misrepresentations, and slanderous vulgar claims of
This goes on for 28 minutes.
Wow, okay.
5 minutes of it is a music video he made. I feel really strongly that we need to immortalize this monumentous occasion with an award.
I guess like you would have casually known who he was. But me and John wouldn't have.
No.
Now, but this is what he's going to be known for.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
in terms of his wider career.
I think if this doesn't go down, because I haven't heard anyone but us talk about this. I've heard people talk about like the guy leaving BioWare, but like this only is not a deal because he deleted the video. And if he had left it up, I think this would have done crazy fucking rounds. And I feel a desire to immortalize it. I think it needs to be known. And like, you know, I'm not going to re-upload it anywhere because, like, I don't know if there's, like, a weird legal thing. But I have a feeling that it might appear places and it wouldn't have anything to do with me, that's for sure. So we'll just see.
So is that it? Greg Ellis?
I mean, if you guys
PSA
are cool
to
with
his
it,
colonites?
It is a very one-of-a-kind thing to do. It's very sad, and that's kind of funny.
Like, if this means Cullen's cut from the game and from the series, okay. Bye, Cullen.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, all right, Greg, you did it.
and then like I think when you stack that on top of like the shit BioWare has been going through, it kind of happened at like the worst possible time for them. But yeah, I think are you guys okay to call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
We'd
call
like
it.
to congratulate Greg Ellis and his message for his colonites. Really, like, Greg, if you hear this, I just want you to know that you made me happier than I have been most of this year, and thank you for that brief moment of just absolute insanity. I needed it. And he's crying.
I just think in 2020, so many bad things happen, and Greg Ellis just comes in like,
Right at the end as well.
Yeah, right at the end of the year.
Right at the end.
This little showstopper.
Okay. Guys, clear these entrees off our table. It's fucking time. The blood ritual is about to begin. If this is your first ever Let's Fight a Boss game of the year, the way this works is that we have 46 games here. One by one, we are going to cut each of them until only one remains. The Let's Fight a Boss 2020 Game of the Year. This is a kind of special year because this podcast has been on hiatus for the last couple of months. I do not know what Brian and Neve think of a lot of these games. I don't know what Brian thinks of If Found. They don't know what I think of If Found. It's complicated. People will disagree with this list. Please keep in mind that each of us is also going to disagree with this list because these aren't our lists. And also, lists are kind of dumb and you shouldn't take them seriously, and you definitely shouldn't make like a multi-hour long discussion about it. But for some reason, that's what we do. And for some reason, people fucking listen to it. It's like our most popular episode every year. And I don't understand it. But that's how this goes.
I think it's the stupid blind passion.
It has these I feel like these conversations do have a way of like shearing off your top layer, and when you're a couple of hours deep and you're fighting for something you believe in, it just all comes out.
It gets silly, it gets aggressive, it
Gets passionate.
Yep.
it gets saucy, it gets spicy, it gets swirly.
I have gone into every game of the year knowing what I wanted to fight for. This year, I'm completely open, but only because I don't know my true feelings myself. And I think through talking and through exploring this with you guys, we'll all come to a truth.
And like, I'm very excited to get there together, but Neve, we're gonna fight.
I know.
Like, I know at least one juncture me and you are gonna meet at.
Yep.
And Brian, whatever you think it is, I think it might be something different.
Great. Well, that's another
Brian
one.
loves being the happy medium stuck in the middle. But real quick, there are also just some games that we did not have a chance to talk about, and like, we haven't played everything this year. Like, you know, this, for none of us, this is our full-time jobs. We all have very demanding other jobs, and so there is just some stuff that like we haven't been able to play, and there's also some stuff that just came out too late this year. Like, say, the Omocat game. What's it called, Ryan?
Omori.
That's going to be out like 2 weeks after we record this. And also, Cyberpunk has been out 2 days, and I think Neve has got to play 3 hours. Neve, if you want to give your takes on it now, that's fine.
Too buggy, don't play it right now.
Okay, cool.
Looks bad.
That's all we can say about Cyberpunk. But other than that, I think we're good to go.